games, comics, anime, codenamed Epic.
It was cool being a nerd, so like I had very few friends and such, but it's now it's nice to know that we have this beautiful community and that we want to be, sure that we're all a part of this and that we should all be able to do whatever we want to and not be concerned about people trolling online or no one wants to, people say about conventions or whatever. It's really nice to be able to go to a place where we feel that we are all welcome. And that was one of the main things I love about Chocolate Covered Cosplay.
Yeah, and we started this group, it's really actually fairly new because we started it June 15th. We all kind of came together and we said, well, we all cosplay, we all go to conventions, we all see each other all the time. Why don't we make a group and match and promote our nerdy, geeky video game, gamer girl world, and also just cosplay whoever we want to be. We don't want to be, I don't want to be Black Jasmine right now. I just want to be Jasmine, not Black Jasmine. She doesn't have to be Black Panty right now. She's just Panty. It's not, it's not, we don't need a label in front of it first based on our ethnicity. And not just, it's not just black and white, it's all ethnicities across the board. It's not just Asians can cosplay, like everyone can cosplay, we all have fun, we all do it. It's not just for young kids or young teenagers. I mean, I see adults in the audience. Yeah, see, he's nodding, he's like, yes, yeah. Right. It's just for it's for adults as well. It's not just kids. It's not just gender. You can do a gender bender. You can cross dress, cross play, however you want to call it, and it still works out, and people still know your character. And it shouldn't be only girls can cross dress and not men, because there's a lot of cosplayers that are men and they do females and they look really good and you wouldn't even be able to tell the difference. So there's a lot, yeah. So yeah.
I've seen a lot of boys. I mean, even I started seeing drag queens when I was really like a tiny 10 or 11, and so I always thought that was super cool. Like, you look so pretty. Like that, you can't deny when someone looks pretty in the store. You're like, that's pretty, and that's all across the board,
Yeah.
For me, I like the whole, because I grew up where, cosplay.com, for instance, where I grew up and just looked at people saying, oh, you can't do that, you're not this race, or you're not this right type of, size or whatever, you can't do this, sort of, cosplay. I kind of grew up with that, so it was kind of weird seeing, stuff like that, how, it was like something that was a hobby, something that was just done for fun, it was something so kind of competitive. So you can't do this. And so that's why I love this group, where it's we could just kind of step over that and just go beyond that, just dress up as what we want to dress up as, no matter what. I love the liberty and freedom we have.
Exactly, and I also just want to say that we do have more members. We started out with a group of 6. But what happened was one of our cosplay sisters, as we call her, Nibby, she lives in a different state, but she is a very awesome cosplay girl. She does cosplay photography, and she does a lot of steampunk and a little cosplay, but since she felt that she didn't live in California, that she kind of stepped down from the group. And our other 2 members, Brittany Angel, who is not here today, she is working, so this is an expensive hobby, we all know. We all got to do that 9 to 5, so she couldn't make it here today, but I'm sure she sends her love. I mean, she didn't pay her phone bill this month so that she could cosplay with us at Kamikaze last week, so she really does, love us and love the group, and she does send her love out there, because she's the cute member of the group. Also Deanna, yeah, she's really adorable. Deanna is also part of our group. She's actually Danielle's younger sister, and she'll probably kind of come in towards the end, but she's a little busy today. She's also new to cosplay, started back in 2009, and ever since then, because me and her and her sister, we're neighbors. So anytime I go somewhere, I'm like, hey, you guys want to go to this convention? You want to go to this event? You want to go to this cosplay gathering? Let's go. All right. So we always end up just going together, just because we all live near each other, and you know, we invite Ashley and Brittany along and just say like, hey, let's make a group and let's all like coordinate and do something with rainbows and butterflies. Except for Danielle, who's just gone.
Sometimes.
I mean, I remember when I first met you guys at like anime kanji, and I was like, oh, I like your Jasmine, because like, you know, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, there are black people here, they're gonna think I'm cool, because I hope this is alright. So I was like, I like your outfit, please be nice to me. And so she was super awesome ever since then. I'm like, great, now friendship.
Yeah, and that's what happens at cons. You know, you always meet that like cool person that you see constantly at every con, and you always talk to them because he's such a cool person. Like Rio right there, like I've known him since like MySpace. Yeah, how old is that? So I've known him since like MySpace was popular, and that's how we met. And I've seen him at like every con, and he goes so many different other places that he used to take me. Like Dragon Con, yeah. Hint, hint. Birthdays in January, you know. But you meet like so many great people, and you can just talk to them just based on their costume. That's actually how I met this girl right here, because you know she's doing Kill Bill right now. It's just awesome. Right. Yeah, she has. Yeah, see.
That's what we're talking about. Yeah. We all know she's you're not supposed to be anything. You're awesome.
Yeah. Exactly. And you know, you just meet and you start talking to just different people just based on their costume or just based on just interests, like, oh, they're just from this video game, so obviously they like it or they played through it or whatever. And it's like, oh, you like Assassin's Creed? Okay, well, like, let's talk now. And you find out you have even more in common. You like this game, you like, you know, this TV show or whatever, what have you. And you just build this bond that we have, and we all kind of feel at home with, you know, brightly colored wigs on and brightly colored costumes of our favorite characters. And we know that we have all the normal people here coming from out of town looking at us like, what's going on? But we feel at home and we feel like we're normal, and that we can just have fun with just everybody that we meet and all the experiences that we have at the different conventions, because you always meet someone new, some new experience happens, and it's just always awesome and great. And there doesn't need to be any drama with cosplay, because
of course not.
Yeah, because it's all make believe and we're having fun, and you know, at the end of the day, we do have to go back to our 9 to 5, you know, job, or 9 to 5 and 6 to 10 or whatever jobs, and to support this hobby, because it is a very expensive hobby. For those who do cosplay at every con or go to every convention or get hotel rooms and get the wig, and then you maybe plane tickets and everything else, and it starts adding up, and you actually try not to think about, well, I try not to think about how much I spent on conventions and buy merchandise and things, but you know, like I said, there doesn't need to be any drama. We can just all have fun and, you know, enjoy ourselves. Do you want to talk about personal stories?
Yeah. So I was actually gonna. I was thinking about certain things that are coming up.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
No. So the next thing we're doing, right now we're working on a calendar so that we can raise some money. We also all have like little wonderful talents that we have. So I sew a lot, and you can always order costumes from me and or Miss Ginger. And Brittany makes cute headphones, and what else?
I draw. I draw.
Yeah, D&D, they draw.
Yeah.
D&D. Yeah, D&D. Well, I was gonna say double D, but
I like D&D.
D&D. All right. Yeah, they also do art, custom art commissions, and yeah, like I said, I do costumes, and Brittany does like cute, like Lolita, kind of Lolita style headbands and bows and headphones and things like that. And like she said, we're working on a calendar to just kind of help raise money for us just going to these different events and things. And the calendar is going to be, you know, it's sexy, but it's tasteful sexy. No one's naked. So you can actually hang it in your room, on the wall.
I think Panty might actually be in it though. Now that we have it, I mean, like it's right here. It's already happened. Yeah, we kind of just sort of picked. When we thought about doing painting and stocking, the theme of the dance. We should have a dance coming up soon. We're gonna be at anime. We're gonna be at ALA definitely.
Yeah.
And then I hope to do WonderCon next, which is gonna be so great. And then there's Expo Kanji's gonna be coming up. I think we're gonna do something special with them. I talked to them last night. So when you come, I love when you guys come to these conventions, like the smaller cons, because you really get a nice little community going. And we'll be doing a lot of other events, like at each common part of the panel, or we'll have a booth at a table so you can come to take pictures and all this work of costumes and see the groups and different ideas that we have for each work display groups.
Yeah, and we are planning other events. Like I said earlier, we were talking to Greg of Tune in Tokyo. He's one of the DJs that is actually going to be DJing tonight. And
Go to the
dance, hey. And we're actually trying to do some sort of event, collaborate, do some sort of C3 and Tune in Tokyo type of event together. And like she said, we're going to be at Anime LA. We're going to have a panel there as well. And we might try to do some sort of event. We're not really sure yet.
Oh, I have an event, actually. I can just talk about this.
Okay, well, go ahead.
These are, I bring up, once again, ideas. Come and go. So, Black History Month is coming up in February, like it is every year, or like it is every day, if you didn't know. So anyway, Black History Month is coming up, and I was thinking, I have a solo performance show that I was been working on for the past couple of years that I debuted here on the West Coast at Conchi, called I Wish My Life Was an RPG. And it's about my life growing up as like a little girl, also being a nerd and also a gamer, and how like sort of life was growing up. Because in the 90s, once again, it wasn't cool, and like the boys were really serious about being the boys club. And I was like, really, guys? So there was all of that. And then as I got older, like I moved over to Virginia from California, and then it was like, oh, now like black people are supposed to be this way, and I was like, oh my god, I can't be a girl, and I can't be black, Lord Jesus, like what's gonna happen in my life? I can't be these things. So I was like, I'm just gonna do what I want to do and be myself. So since then, I wrote this piece about sort of the transition of learning to love yourself for who you are and not really needing to fit into any sort of bubble or sort of mold at all. So I've been working on this for a while, and now I did an anime expo as well as anime display up north and fanime up there as well. So I started working on it while I was in Virginia, went to school, and now that I'm over here, I can I like to have it as a part of what a piece or repertoire we have. So I've been talking with a black nerd who was really cool, and he was at Kamikaze, and so we were discussing having a wonderful using an example, we should have like a meetup at Meltdown Comics, because you can rent the backspace, and I've had lots of people I know who rent that backspace and do wonderful events. So I think we should have a wonderful celebration of, I guess, nerd history in general. So like things like that, just doing events and collaborations around the town and showing up at different places in costumes. Is what we do.
Yeah.
Well said.
Well said. And then now I think we can just talk about just maybe personal stories that's happened to us, maybe personal cosplay stories. Danielle, you want to go first? You're a goth girl.
Well, I had one, maybe a few, but I'll just go with the same one. Well, I was, what was it, my first year of cosplay, which was back in 2009 in PMX. I did a little costume for Resident Evil 5, Sheva, her clubbing outfit, and it didn't go all that well. Well, I don't know, like people stopped me for pictures, but just something about the dress, it just kept, because it was like, I had to tie the strings and everything, and it was kind of like a $5 dress, so I don't make my stuff, I just buy it and modify it. So, I kind of tried to tie like a few bows here and there and everything, and when I got to the con, it's like, oh cool, let's see how long this lasts. 5 minutes later, after I pair something, the string comes apart, I'm like, oh crap. Retie that, and then, I have to go to the bathroom and the dress comes apart, I'm like, oh gosh, never again. So, yeah, that was interesting, and I kind of retired that. I might bring it back after I kind of butcher it, bring it back to life. That's my only interesting and personal story. That was kind of safe to talk about.
You don't have to be safe.
Yeah,
We're all friends
What
here.
time is it? Is it 18 and up time? Are there babies in here?
Oh, there is. Yeah, see, that's why I have to do an innocent story.
There's a princess.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
What? You gotta bring a baby.
Yeah. Little trunks.
That's
Yeah.
adorable.
Yeah.
No, like, that's cute. You know
say.
it.
It's okay, maybe next time.
Yeah. That's precious. You know, cosplay stories. I just met these two adorable little girls. I don't know. Oh my god, if that were them, that'd be so precious. They're so cute. It's really nice to see like the younger generation come up to you and be like, oh my god, thank you so much for doing that, and that they know what you're talking about. Or like kids who come up and like, oh man, I love Ron 1/2. I'm like, you're 10. That's awesome. I love seeing the younger generation coming up and being like, we're totally down, we're so into anime. Like that, when they know your costume, like they mean it and they're just so excited. It's totally Disneyland for them too. They're like, Mom, that is Penny. Like, Penny, oh my god. I'm like, you should be watching, come here. It's adorable. You. So that was one of my favorite moments actually, is having the kids and when they come to me like, they know your costume, man. And that's awesome. That is great. Like that is exactly how that was meant to be. I'm like, thanks. Like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, you're so and so. Like, you know.
Yeah. Sometimes you kind of wonder, you're like, wait. Like you see like a little girl dressed as what's the girl from Kick-Ass?
Hit Girl.
Hit Girl, and you kind of wonder, you're like, wait. Did you really see that movie?
Oh, she did.
I mean,
more than once. It was really something like rewind.
Let's see. What's a funny story? What's the one I always tell? Sobriety test one? Okay. Sobriety test in cosplay. I was in Little Tokyo at one point, just hanging out with my friends, and because that's what we do. And we were cosplaying, and I was headed home. I live up near Six Flags, and Little Tokyo's in LA. And I saw like police lights ahead of me when I was driving, and so I pass a sign and it says sobriety checkpoint, and I'm fully and still in cosplay because I just planned to just drive straight home. I mean, I had enough gas, I wasn't going to stop anywhere. There was no reason for me to change clothes. So I'm hoping like, okay, well maybe they won't stop me. The costume I had on was Sexy no Jutsu and Bukakashi. So I had a silver wig on. The shirt, or like the top, is kind of like this top is only like here, and I have like these short shorts on, this like mini skirt on. So it looks a little odd, and it's like 11:30 at night. So I don't know. I could look like a prostitute, but I don't know. So they waved two cars in front of me. Like I get to the point, and the two cars in front of me. They waved through. They didn't even stop them and check. So they asked me to pull over, and I'm like, oh great, because now the cop is gonna see me. He's gonna think I'm like drunk or high or something is wrong with me. Yeah, or a prostitute. I don't know. I don't know, because every time I wear that and I pass cops, they just stare me down, and I'm like, I've seen girls in less
Dude, have you been to the Sunset Strip after dark?
That's what
I didn't know.
I've seen people in less.
I didn't know about that. I was driving around with someone at 3 in the morning, and in their convertible, and I was like, this is a great idea. Like, why don't we just go out? And like we were driving through trying to get donuts, and like, everything is cool, and we're like, gun store, where are we going? Where are we going? Oh my god, and then he stopped us. Then someone stopped us like, hey! I like meant to go get something, and like, oh hey, what, do you want me to get in your car? And I get up, and they're like, oh, you already have someone with you. I'm like, I am not a prostitute! But apparently she thought that I was. And she was, I don't know what happened, but she was like, oh, you're with somebody. We were like, let's go far away so that we don't get pulled over. Then we thought about going to the strip club, but it didn't happen. It's okay. It was like $20 to get in. Why would you spend money on that? Continue.
That was a funny side story. So I was in cosplay, stopped for a sobriety test, and the cop came over and he looked at me very strangely. It was dark out, so he shined the light in my car, and he just looked at me very strangely, and he looked at my outfit, shined the light on my outfit, saying like, what are you doing? Why are you dressed like this? So I'm sitting in the car because it's hard to explain, like, oh, I mean, I guess I could have said a costume party or something, but of course you don't think of this thing. So I started saying, like, oh, well, I'm a ninja from Naruto, and we're like, yeah, I really did. And I'm a girl, I'm a guy, but like dressed as a girl, because that's what he does. And he's like, oh, okay, was everybody dressed like this at this thing? I was like, no. Like, there's guys, and then there's girls, and there's guy ninjas and female ninjas, and that's how it works. And he's just like, oh, so were guys dressed like this? I'm like, no. Like, there's different ones. Like, I don't know if you've seen Naruto, but it's like ninjas, and they fight each other. And then I was thinking, like, wait, this doesn't really, I shouldn't have explained this. And he's like, oh, okay, well, he could tell I wasn't drunk. He just gave me back my license and said, okay, well, have a good night. I'm like, okay, well, awesome. Actually, one's funny, what happened actually here yesterday. I was in Scanty and, panty and knee socks. I think I was just with Danielle at the time. And we were getting our pictures taken, and someone walks in, and she said, she has a camera, and she's like, oh, can I take your picture? And we're like, oh, sure. And she's like, oh, what's this for? So I'm thinking she's part of she knows that this is PMX. So I started saying, like, oh, yeah, we're hosting the dance tonight. It's going to be in the main ballroom. And she's like, no, like, what's this whole thing for? And, oh, you're not part of the convention. It's like, oh, well, it's, it's an anime convention, kind of like comic book conventions. We all dress up and blah, blah, blah. She's like, oh, so what show is this from? I was like, it's called Panty and Stocking. And they take their clothes off to become more powerful. Yeah.
It's a great explanation.
Yeah, and I was
all the explanations you could have used.
And I was holding 2 pairs of panties at the time. And when
Scanty.
yeah, she has 2 pairs of panties. So I was holding 2 pairs of panties. Had the love, and I was carrying love cups around. Some people know, like, that I was acting really ridiculous yesterday for no reason. And I had like love cups, I think, in my other hand. So I must have and then of course I looked like a demon. So, it's hard to explain to someone who has no idea what this is, but you're trying to explain, like, oh, panty and stocking, yeah, they take their clothes off, and it's total fan service, and people love it.
Can we just talk about panty and stocking? Oh, yeah, I'm gonna get your question. I was gonna say, when you watched that first episode, anybody saw that coming? Like, at all? Because I was great. I was like, oh, this is a great show. Like, oh, this is fun. And I was like,
I don't know. I almost didn't finish it after that.
oh, it's like after that.
Someone told me like finish. I'm like, no.
Yeah, no. Okay, yeah, it is a little gross, but I'm just saying, like when that went down, I was like, and I'm sold.
Yeah, I
Like
just
I was already. This is a great show already. They're like, and haha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, she transformed on a stripper pole. I was like, what?
What? I was like, magical girl. Like, magical girl. There's gonna be magical girls in this? Like, what? Yeah, who doesn't want a magical girl? Like, yes. Bow.
So, quick question. You guys do a lot of cosplay, a lot of different cons. It's no surprise when we go to cons that there's going to be con mismatches. You know, go to an anime con, there's a Christian con, a elf con, insert con here. What's the funny? Huh?
There's a Christian con?
Oh yeah. Anime Expo.
Oh, I got a good one for that.
I love Westboro Baptist Church is outside of
What stories do you guys have of those types of mismatches? Like mother and her daughter coming for a, I don't know, women empowerment con, but a costume that is more than a little revealing.
Oh, yeah.
Ready for this one? I have one. I do.
Okay, you guys go.
Alright, well, I don't know, I wouldn't really call it weird. Well, it was weird at the time, this woman comes up to me, she's like pretty religious, and I was dressed up as Ada Wong from Resident Evil. Just like, oh, you delve far into the dark side, here, you know, take this card, you'll get holy, like, or something, like the card is gonna get holy. So I'm like, okay, I'm wearing a costume, hold it down, fun, whatever. It's like, you know, you've like crossed the dark side, the devil took a hold of you. I don't know if this card could save you. Like, yeah, so she thought I was a prostitute going to hell, like a pimp or something. So it was pretty interesting.
It's like, man, it's 10 a.m.
I know, seriously.
Somebody needs it
Really
sometime.
too, yeah.
Somebody's gonna call at 10 a.m.
Yeah, and then it was like this one time when it was a bomb was walking around with AX again. It's like, oh yeah, look at you, you look like the devil. What's happening?
Was she a black old Southern woman?
It was a black man, an old black guy with a stroller and everything, like a bomb. It's like, oh, you look like the devil. I'm wearing this red dress. I'm like, the devil never wears red dresses on.
Wait. Are you telling me you've gotten more flack for your A1 costume than any of the other stuff?
Yeah.
That's odd.
That and my Shiva one, but it was only one time in that.
You have a Shiva costume?
Yeah, like Club and Shiva, but
Oh.
no. Yeah.
Come on, Dan.
Yeah. What?
Club and Shiva.
Club and, yeah. It was a dare, actually. I actually put that as a dare.
She liked it, she made it.
Huh? What?
Yeah.
So, at Fanime this year, at Fanime this year, I was swimsuit Konata, and the church people were out, and it was raining, and I had a really good time in my floaty. That's all I really need to say about that. But speaking of Christian conventions, I used to go to those a lot, like once a year, and like they're really intense. It's a total different experience, and it's like, whew, you know. But I used to go all the time, and so like when I would see them, I'd be like, guys, we're not supposed to hate. I used to be you. I know what you're doing. I'm there. I was like,
God hates cosplayers.
God doesn't hate cosplayers. God loves everybody. So like when it happened, I was like actually like morally like, look, sir, I know where you're coming from. I really do. I legit know where you're coming from. I've been there, so you know we ain't supposed to be doing this. So those are all of my stories that do with me being like, excuse me, sir, we're gonna talk for a minute, or at Anime Expo, my first year, I was having a really good time outside Anime Expo, but when it was at the Anaheim, it's actually like way back in the day. So, and there was always another convention like right around the corner. So I remember, I think I was doing Chief from Chobits, like a little button up or something. Unnecessary. And I was just walking down the street with this boy that I met, and we were having like there was hookah involved, and like we were just like chilling like outside, like next to like right next like in the grass. Here's us, and then the Christian convention is right there. We're just like. Like I'm just gonna lay here wearing whatever. So you know, try not to be. I don't like to be buttheads to them, but just be buttheads to us. It's weird. I mean, I know. I feel like you can save people, but that's not the way to do it because that just pushes people away from showing the goodness that could come from having a person to issues. You know, that's what happened.
Was there another question out there?
I think I want you to answer this question.
Oh, yeah, answer that question now.
Wait, what? I couldn't think.
The first question, oh, you couldn't think of, all right.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything.
All right. All right, second question then. First things first, chocolate covered cosplay.
I knew you were gonna say something.
You knew
Yeah.
it, you knew it.
I just saw it in the eyes, like, okay.
I was like, wait a second, is Daniel here? Okay, main question. All right, so I guess 3 black ladies into anime, black otaku, if you will. Your exposure to anime, how do you think that was different growing up, and how do you feel about cosplaying moving forward characters? Do you think that race is an issue? Have you come across fans who are like, my God, it is not black? You know what I mean?
I actually did.
Right.
I talked about this a little bit earlier on, but I grew up where, cosplaying as, let's say, an Asian person or a white person, you're black, it's like people would say, oh, it's a really big issue. You're not this race, what are you doing? Or, something like, oh, you're not this weight, what are you doing? I've come across that my whole entire life. So I've always been like, man, fuck you guys, whatever. So I've kind of just blown it off.
Right.
I'm sorry.
He won't remember.
There you go. So, I grew up with that, and I always, whenever I heard or read that, people saying, oh, it's not okay to dress up like this and you're not like this race or you don't look like this. I just like, whatever, I just want to have fun and do it. So, yeah, I just felt like that. But I've always encountered that my whole life. I just grew it out the whole time.
Yeah, it'd be like even like I felt like Spirit Week was a good testament to learning about whether or not people were cool with you cosplaying. Like you had to go in for high school and be like, oh, today is just like it's like this beach day, and I was like decked out. And I'm like, really? You're gonna get like, why not? Like it's fun.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, because my first anime was Sailor Moon. Yeah, Sailor Moon. And it came on Channel 7. I think it was 7 or Channel 9. Channel 9, 7 in the morning.
13, I think, yeah.
Something like that. So that was my first anime. I didn't know it was anime. I mean, I knew it was like Japanese, but I knew it was an American cartoon. But pretty much growing up, like I was the only one in my elementary school that liked anime, and I had like all these like posters and things. So when my friends would come over, they would see all these Sailor Moon like posters and wall scrolls decorated all over the walls. And I think at one point my brother and I were sharing a room, so we had like Dragon Ball Z on the walls too. And my friends would see it and they're like, "Whoa, what is this?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's anime." They're like, "Oh, okay." So anyway, let's paint our nails or something. I don't know. It wouldn't really they didn't really get it. It was just like me and my brother. You know, we'd watch it like Dragon Ball Z and Sailor Moon, and we found out the Japanese version and how it was like way different, and much more awesome. The whole cousin thing, yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I have received criticism before. For example, I posted up somewhere that I was going to be Princess Peach, and someone said, "Oh, well, you're going to be Black Princess Peach?" And I was like, "No,
Black card.
no, I'm just going to be Princess Peach."
was she like black hair instead?
I
Did she have a fro?
I guess.
I get a lot of
Yes.
I get a lot of requests for like fro poison ivy with the red fro and like some like marijuana leaves in it. Like everyone always, people ask me, it's very specific, and I'm always like, okay.
But wait, Princess Peach with a fro, brown and top?
I don't know.
It could work.
Got your hair up on the top, like it was sit there.
Oh, like a peach with the pig in it, like right there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at the crown.
Like a peach.
Oh,
Like crown.
Yeah, fro pig.
Bro pig with
Oh yeah, you know it. Well, I have the fro under here, so I guess I'll be doing that next time. AOA, look out for it. Woo, stay dressed.
Princess Peach is a soul sister.
Always.
Whoa.
You know, she was getting
That's a bit much.
no, you're totally cool, totally fine, awesome. What was that? Question.
Yeah, it was about
Criticism growing up.
criticism. Yeah.
So when I was growing up, I actually did think for a really long time that I had to cosplay, because I wanted to cosplay the best. And so, when you're like 6, that's what you think, you're like the best. So I wanted to do a really, really good cosplay. I was like, well, I can do a really good cosplay and make the person look exactly like me. I was like, ooh, what would look exactly like me? Like, what cosplays can I have? So I was like, okay, there's some Love Hina. I started on Rumble when I have Tenchi Muyo. You can tell where my anime went. So Love Hina eventually showed up with Nejima. She's hair of anime is so great. But yeah, and so I started there, and then that's where I got. And then I eventually got to Sailor Moon, and then I did Pokemon, I did some Digimon. It was a good show. And then it sort of branched over there. And then that's where. Then I hit Ava, and then. Once you hit Ava, you're like, all right, sure. Yeah. Like, but I thought for a while I looked like I can do, and so I remember when I saw Belle Dandy, I was like, yes! Well, not Belle Dandy, but
Tina.
No.
Erd.
I was like, Erd. But I was so I saw Erd for the first time. I was like, sweet goodness, yes, I can finally do something. I was so excited about it. It never really happened. I was like, oh, I don't have that. I'll wait till I grow up when I get boobs and stuff, when I'm a grown lady, and that would be great. So I figured I was gonna wait for that to happen because I was young enough to be like, oh, I can hit puberty and things will change. And it didn't. So I was like, okay, I guess I won't be doing that. But I found a way. Like I did a round from Wakami, and she's like all over the place. So I put on like 3 or 4 different bras and like pushed them up and like got the magic going. So I was like, they were like here. I was like yes. And then it matched the outfit, and I was like cool. But I also know why I don't have things that big.
I think this outfit is making you talk about your boobs and being, just random stories.
You're just jealous. I don't even know how to answer that.
Are there any more questions? Yes.
This relates specifically to the webcomic turned traditional turned regular manga turned anime called Hetalia, where you actually have the countries as anthropomorphic characters, and I was just thinking that might be an interesting way for people of all various different races, ethnicities, and whatever to do all kinds of different cosplay.
Mm-hmm. That's like race play, funsy time. Like, that'd be so great because you could I'm gonna be Germany today. Like that's hilarious. Like let's have a good time. I think it really actually leads it open to having more fun, and also you just make fun of stuff. You're having a good time.
You could always go as German East Africa.
I know, right?
Seriously.
Germany hit up Africa. We all know. We saw that. I would too. So, yeah.
She doesn't turn this off ever.
Panties are part of life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, I think that Natalia is a really good example, and how much fun actually can be. Because then it's like you're commenting so hard and everything at the same time, you're just having a good time.
Yeah.
And you're like, really just like Germany's outfit. Like, what if really just like those pleats, the clean lines, it's really get you. You're like, man, what a really nice. I want to make that costume, and so you do.
Yeah.
Oh, get one? Sure.
Ask Danielle, I ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
All right.
I know you do. I'm used to it.
I know you are. So, you and your sister, you and your brother, growing up, being anime fans, how did your parents react to it?
My mom thought I was actually going to grow out of it. Because,
boy.
Yeah, she really did. She said by the time I was 16, I'm not going to have any of those posters, because I have so many posters. Like, I have posters on my ceiling, because I just have too many. And in the hallway, because I have too many, they just don't fit in my room. And she thought I was going to grow out of it by the time I was 16. She's like, why are you going to buy all these posters? You're not even going to have them past 16. You're going to get over it, and you're going to, move on to something else, like boys or something. But yeah, that didn't happen. I still have all my, I mostly have Sailor Moon, but I started trying to buy, more different, I finally bought some, Final Fantasy posters, because I like Final Fantasy, and I don't have anything. So I like this Zack poster. I actually have 2. It's yeah. And my brother kind of grew out of it. He only has, I think, 2 posters in his room. He has this one wall scroll of Gotenks, and he has Goku in 3rd Super Saiyan on his door. But that's about it. And I stole some of his Dragon Ball Z posters and put them in my room because he wasn't gonna use them. He kind of grew out of it. He still watches Dragon Ball Z Kai, and I'm like, okay, Irvin, how many times do you watch the show? Okay, he's like, no, it's different.
No, it's not.
Different. And I'm like, it's okay. It's condensed.
It is different.
It's different because it's condensed, but it's still the same story. And I'm like, how many times have you seen this? Because we were arguing one day because Batman Beyond came on the same time as it at one point, and Batman Beyond has not been on for a long time. And I was like, can I just have my nostalgia of Batman Beyond right now, because I really want to be that character. I want to do that.
Dude, that Ivy is perfect.
Yeah, I was kind of upset. And he's like, no, I want to watch Dragon Ball Z Kai. I want to watch Goku fight Frieza again. I'm like, okay, Goku wins in the end. You know.
Right.
You know. And then,
for 10 minutes.
And then he wins.
Not 5 minutes, Sky.
Yeah, it's Kai, so it's like shortened. And you know, Trunks comes in the future then, and they start the whole cell. You know that happened. I mean, I know because I've seen it too, because I like Dragon Ball Z, don't get me wrong. I love it.
It's like pulled that out of wherever they wanted to, didn't they? They're just like,
Oh.
here it goes the future.
Oh, that's because after Frieza, that was where the story was supposed to end.
Oh.
And then they said, okay, well, it's popular, so let's keep going. That's why, because Goku was actually supposed to die after Frieza and the whole thing. That was supposed to be the end. That's why Frieza was so strong and it took so long. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just prophesying.
Sorry. Alright,
Danielle.
Alright. Well, just like
We're not talking about Dragon Ball Z.
But yeah, my dad actually got me both into anime and video games. So when my dad started getting me into like anime, it was first like Pokemon, and then I went from there, and then I went to Sailor Moon. I'm like, I love this. I love Sailor Moon. And I just go up. But then from Sailor Moon, it was weird because I accidentally went to like the wrong stuff, like Go-Go 13 and all this other stuff. And
Wicked City, what's that?
Wicked
Yeah!
Wicked City? Oh.
I haven't seen that. What was it? I watched Twilight the Dark Master.
Yeah.
I watched that, and I just went from the innocent path to like the dark path really quickly. And I told my dad, like, hey, Dad, I watched like Go-Go 13. He's like, oh, nice, I got some more stuff for you. He's like,
Daddy, this is Ninja Scroll.
I know. I watched that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Then I went to Ava, and then things got more interesting from there. So
Lane is your next one. Once again, Lane is your next one.
I watched that too. I love it. Watched it like 3 times in a row. Love it. But yes.
I have a whole selection if you want to come see it. It's all good.
Look, you saw Phantom?
I've seen that.
Yes, I have that too.
Yeah. I've seen that too. There's a lot of ones I watched too, but there were just so many titles. So my mom thought I was gonna get out of it. She thought, oh, it's just cartoon stuff. Like, no, it's not. It's not cartoon
It's a
stuff.
way of life.
It is a way of life. She thought it was like Mickey Mouse. She didn't understand it. She thought it was Mickey Mouse and Daffy Duck. I'm like, no, it's not.
One day I'll be one of those voices.
Yeah, one day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One day.
Possibly.
Yeah, so that's how I got into it. I don't really collect posters, I just collect like manga, but now I just been collecting like comics. So right now I'm going into the whole X-Men craze and really get obsessed with that. And yeah, my dad got me into like Superman, and we talked about X-Men and talked about Spider-Man and all that stuff. And so my dad's to blame for all this. My dad's to blame why I'm like the dark one, the gothic one of the group. So it's kind of like he built me up to this.
Ooh, that's how I feel with my brother. He kind of like made me what I am, which is really unfortunate, like in a way, because like we watched a lot of Magical Girl anime and a lot of like, you know, harem anime. So that turned into what?
Yeah.
Which actually turned into Panty and Stocking, which is hilarious. But we watched, that's like all we did. It was like harem anime, harem anime, harem anime, and then Sailor Moon and Magical Candy, and then we carved after Sakura. I'm just like, yeah, and then Bitchy Chokers actually showed up. And then there's like this whole genre of like anime that's really like soft and like really sweet and like beautiful slice of life stories. Well, I mean, I can tell that I was raised by a boy when it comes to anime. Like I was raised by a boy, like a 13-year-old boy. Like this is what boys watch when they're that age. When it comes to anime, and I'm like, oh, there you go. Hot, is it? Yeah, it is. That's the beginning. Choice, brother. That's why I'm a nerd. And I used to play video games with all the boys in the block and made them cry a lot. And then we lost a lot of friends for a while. And it's not their fault. It's just something we need to get better at games. Like, I'm sorry, just attack. Like, get your life together. It's Soul Calibur. Why you stop sucking, like go home and practice, it's okay, there's no shame. You go home and you put on heavy, just like...
No, when I was playing with my brother, he would get into mad fits, like if so, we'd play like fighters and sometimes shooters. Every time my brother would play, he'd like just throwing a controller, like, oh man, he'd beat things up and like, just a game. No throwing it around.
I can't game with people like that, I'm sorry, I'm trying to have a good time.
Or Killer Instinct. Do you guys remember Killer Instinct? Or Super Nintendo? And you had to like, they would have like ultra combos and like you would press like all like 20 buttons.
I like the dance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, that's a lot of the gameplay that played on it ended up being music games, like Japanese music games.
Yeah,
like,
and it actually came with the CD when you bought it. Like,
Right?
when did that?
I actually have this.
what did I have? I had Guitar Man, and then oh sweet, that soundtrack like that gets me up in the morning. Like, I'm like yes, like that is how you wake up. You're like life is awesome. Like how is good music, and then poppin' music was probably one of my favorites. My brother ended up building a board. So we also had a metal DDR pad that he built, which is like I felt very lucky. Like we had like a little baby arcade in my house. Like he just has so much time on his hands. I don't even know. But I went away for a weekend. I came back to the pop music board, so I'm not gonna be complaining. And so we played a lot of that, and all the pop music 8 is like my other like favorite soundtrack too. Like what great music that comes out of that. Sweet. And the Mini Moni tambourine game. If anybody knows anything about Hello Project or Mini Moni or Moni Mitsume, I'm also a very Skobu fan, though they're sort of separate, but generally, yeah. Mini Moni Pasu much, Mini Mo Pasu, like tambourine game.
That's totally a con. Like, you
Yeah.
know, like they're like anime fan. They got that ringtone.
I like I've heard a lot of Fly Away songs today. People have that CD on
That was in my head for the whole week when I first heard that song.
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
right? The whole dude. Even I still like scanning these songs better. Like in the story.
Yeah, you actually missed. What was it? Yesterday, me and Ginger were scanning these songs, and
I have a picture of my phone.
there's pictures.
There's pictures. It's on our. I
I'm
actually
so safe
uploaded a
pictures.
photo.
No,
to
they
our
aren't
page.
safe at all.
Not for work.
actually.
Not
Yeah,
safe for work.
friends on Facebook. I'm a respectable lady.
Another question?
I haven't heard from you yet.
Yeah,
Sarah.
yeah.
And then
I'm cool.
All right, just curious, as I know this could change at any time, but right now, what are your favorite cosplays?
this one. Right now, this just happened. And last week it was Rainbow Dash. So it's usually the one I just finished the debut. What would be mine?
I think it's a tie.
5 minutes left, so can I wrap it up?
Yeah. Okay. I think mine was a tie between my Yami Yugi cosplay and my Bayonetta. So those are my two favorites.
Mine is this, and I'm starting to like knee socks, even though the shirt kind of exploded on itself.
But sorry.
No, it's not your
I
fault.
have big titties. What do you want me to do?
It's okay.
Oh,
It's
okay.
okay.
Baby.
We're so.
He's distracted, so don't worry.
No, it's okay. Look, it's just too much cotton.
I'm glad you guys are really good sports about this, by the way. Thank
Yeah.
you.
But yeah, it's fine.
So I guess let's wrap up now. Thank you all first of all for coming in again to the panel. Very kind of you for staying through and listening to what we really had to say.
Our randomness.
You can find us online at Chocolate Covered Cosplay. We're on Facebook. That's where you can get us from. And we will be going to ALA next, and then hopefully we'll be at WonderCon or whatever conventions have coming up. We'll be sure to put that on our Facebook page. You can find us there. You can find me on Twitter, Ashley Jan. Yeah,
Oh yeah, I'm GNB Cosplay is Twitter and my cosplay.com account and everything else. My MySpace, yeah, go to MySpace.
My is for watching episodes of things for cheap, free. And if you guys all have any events coming up, please feel free to let us know.
Yeah. Free Phil?
Free. Feel free.
Feel free.
And
Feel
also,
free.
it's like
Feel free.
no lie.
Yeah, free feel.
It's fun.
And I just also wanted to say, oh, I'm sorry, before you start clapping, I know. I just wanted to say, like, we are a group of 5 cosplayers, and I know we've been getting a lot of requests of people wanting to join. And Ray's not in here, so I can't make fun of him. But he wanted to do like a male version of us. He wants to gender bend us, I guess. I don't know. That's what we call it. But he's not in here, so I can't make fun of him. But anyway, we're trying to figure out a way that we can actually have more people in our group and kind of have like little minions. Because I know a lot of people like what we do, and we've gotten so many requests and just like so much just support from other states, because not everyone that is here is in LA, and we've gotten so much great support, and they want to actually join us. but we're not taking any more members of our main group, but we will try to figure out a way that we can actually have more members in like a subgroup and, can help and promote, just all the chocolate love in our lovely, nerdy, lovely world. I'm sorry, just Bell walked in and I just lost it.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry, I have to go to work now. Sorry, guys. Have a wonderful day.
do not take your panties off.
Why not? Oh, baby.
I'm just kidding.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much for coming. We really hope you enjoyed it. And be sure you guys can take a flyer of us. High glossy, sexy photos. Take them. And thank you so much for coming. We love you guys.
Thank you.
And it's our
Hi, this is Maestro Please, and I am here with these three beautiful ladies. They're part of Chocolate Covered Cosplay. So what is your mission statement?
Our mission statement is to promote through open and honest dialogue, yes. To promote cosplay for all people, no matter what their race, their color, shape, or size. We are a group of 6 and wonderful black ladies, just being ourselves and allowing ourselves to do whatever we like, no matter what.
So who are you cosplaying as today?
Today I'm actually doing Princess Jasmine from Aladdin.
And I am Panty from Panty and Stocking.
And I'm X23 from X-Men.
All right. So any future or upcoming plans for Chocolate Covered Cosplay?
Well, I know right now that we're working on doing some events with other groups such as Tune in Tokyo. We're also working with other places like Meltdown Comics and other places in the nerd community that we really would like to be a part of. Yeah.
So how did this group get started up in the first place?
Well, this is a good one for all of us. I say that we met each other at anime kanji, different cons like that, and then all of a sudden I just sort of noticed everyone online. I was like, hey, you guys are awesome. I feel like we should capitalize on being awesome black ladies who cosplay who are sweet and nice.
So any plans in along the line, in let's say 5 years?
Wow, 5 years. Oh yeah, when we Ginger.
When we take over the world. Yeah, well, we are planning to do a calendar for next year, so 2012. It's going to be a very sexy, classy calendar, so you can put it on your wall. You don't have to take it to the bathroom. I know, I just had to throw that in there. We're also planning a lot of upcoming group cosplays together. We want to do a Fran group. We want to do a Silent Hill, something really goth and scary, because for Danielle, our goth girl right there. We want to do something for her. And in 5 years, I think we just want to have our group grow and kind of be all over and be known and help other cosplayers who are afraid to do that certain character or whatever, and let them just know that they can do that character and they don't have to feel bad about it, or they don't have to feel like they can't do it just because of their skin color or even just their gender or what have you. You can do whatever you want, and it's a lot of fun, and people will see the character and not the color of your skin first. So we hope to just promote that down the line 5 years from now, besides taking over the world.
Yeah. We can have really cool booths and stuff. Maybe we'll be selling things by then, or have some sort of trade and we make costumes. You can buy chocolate covered costumes or whatever. Just a way to be a larger name in our community that we have now, and some way that we can make monies and make this a life. We won't have to go to other jobs anymore.
All right. So any cosplaying tips for anyone?
The right material, please. Satin is not an excuse. Stop doing it. It doesn't it's cheap. It's not made right. It's woven. It frays, and stop doing it. The best thing to do is pick a really nice fabric. That having woven fabrics are great as long as they're nice and tight woven, and that way that they consistently they're not gonna really fray too much. You can serge the edges really easily, or you can stitch them around. Really thin fabrics, and also they like to shatter into pieces as well. So picking your fabric is the most important thing, and also think about the costume and how it's gonna lay. With using this, I knew I was gonna do lots of gatherings, so I wanted to have something that knew that if I pressed it with the hot iron, it's gonna come out really nice. Like these pleats aren't gonna happen unless I can really kick an iron to it. So you just pick a fabric that you know is gonna press nicely. It's gonna have really clean lines. Like some fabrics don't want to do this or that. You know, you wouldn't pick a really loose fabric if you wanted to do something like this. You want to pick something that's nice and tight so that it lays right. There you go.
All right, well, thank you, and I hope you ladies have a wonderful con. All right.
Thank you so much.